Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 5 of The Good News with Curly.
And Hughes.
That's my name. So we dressed up today because today, September the 8th, something absolutely terrible happened. Oh, fuck, tell me, sit back. Who the fuck are you?
I'm in darkness here.
You're in darkness? Yeah, stay in darkness. I was addressing the camera. I was being all important because obviously today something awful happened. Something truly terrible. A tragedy happened in the UK. Manchester United lost 1-0 to Real Sociedad. They are a B-Tech Spanish football team with nobody I've heard of playing for them, and they can still beat a team consisting of Cristiano Ronaldo. What a national tragedy. No wonder the flags are at half-mast. Your thoughts, Chris?
I don't particularly follow soccer, I'll be honest. So I didn't even know there was soccer on today. But yeah, that's an absolute tragedy. Are you okay? Are you going to be able to get through this?
It's been hard.
Yeah.
Since the news
You wanted
broke.
to cancel?
I did. Since the news broke, I've not felt myself. I found myself feeling emotional for no reason. Even though I have no actual familial ties to these people, that I don't know them. They're so incredibly rich and own land that, I could never know them. They don't think of me. But still, I feel some kind of weird attachment to them. How fucking weird would it be if I was sad about that for real? Think about that, people of the UK. Also,
That's very on the nose.
Also, Queen Elizabeth died this year. Anyway.
You wouldn't have been able to tell. Literally dominating the fucking news.
Shit, dominating the sports pages as well, which I find quite an affront.
Yeah.
Because aside from a passing interest in fucking in equestrian, she's no sportsman.
No.
Keep that shit off the back pages.
She needs to stay in her lane.
Stay in your fucking lane.
Like, even when she's not alive, she's like crossing over. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's very inconsiderate
Very
of her.
rude.
Very, very rude. You know what I mean?
I also saw a post earlier that had a gif of like Princess Diana shadow boxing in heaven, just waiting for it to get there.
I actually thought this is very ignorant of me, but I actually thought Princess Diana was from Wales, but she was just a princess of Wales.
Yeah.
That'll tell you how much I know about the monarchy.
Charles was also Prince of Wales, and now he's the king.
Yeah.
People have been saying like, "Oh, get ready for William as your Prince of Wales." I'm thinking, get ready for our sloppy seconds. We had him as the Prince of Wales for over 50 years. Yeah, sure, borrow him for a bit.
Is there a Prince of Scotland or Northern Ireland?
Duke of Edinburgh.
Duke of Edinburgh. What about Northern Ireland?
Guns.
Guns.
Lots of guns.
Just master of weaponry.
We've got a Secretary of State for Northern Ireland who used to be the MP for my hometown. He's a fella called Paul Murphy.
Oh, okay.
And he made, especially during the Troubles, made a lot of decisions out there.
Did he?
Yeah,
I've never even heard of him.
Straight from the heartline, straight from my home to yours.
Yeah, because the two main guys obviously were Jerry Adams of Sinn Féin, and there was that other fella that looked like a fucking slapped arse. He looked like he was melting.
McGuinness.
No. It was like the unionist guy.
Ian Paisley.
Yeah.
Never.
That fella.
Never. That was his big quote.
That fella looked like he was melting. Joe, he looked like Jabba the Hutt.
He looked like his own Manitou Source culture in a heat wave. It was ridiculous. No, apparently my friend was from Lisbon, and
that's technically a city as well.
Yeah, Lisbon. Yeah,
how crazy is that?
I know, it's mad. It is actually, but I think it's a
Shit
city
hole.
just because Ian Paisley was from there.
No.
Apparently, when he was addressing people, you could hear it echoing all around the fucking town. It was mad.
Fuck's sake. Yeah, because there's like 6 cities in Ireland, and Lisburn is one of them because it has a cathedral. Oh. He just finished his Guinness whiskey without me.
That's not whiskey.
So rude. What is it?
That's ginger wine. Ginger wine, or the poor man's crabbies, however you want to call it. It's beautiful. It's not beautiful. It's the cheapest bottle of Johnny Walker I could put hands on. But
yeah, but it's whiskey, so like.
But yeah, playing it for the cameras, like, beautiful. I'll leave you a little dribble.
The end of the bottle.
Yeah, you can have the ends. That's the one that's aged longer.
I'll drink it straight from the bottle as well. Don't pour it out for me like I'm some sort of cultured bastard.
Ah, yeah, fine.
I'll go straight from
No
it.
problem.
Give me a brown bag as well while we're at it. And I'll lose this tie. I'll lose the blazer. I'll go bare chest.
I was going to lose, baby.
Just that. I'll keep the socks on.
Yeah, you got to pay for
all
the
naked
rest.
below here.
You got to pay for the rest.
Yeah, you got to pay for the rest, man.
That's Dream Boys.
It's a little teaser show.
Why don't you do a shout out for Dream Boys? When is it? Where can you watch it?
You can't.
You can't. Fuck it. So all
Nice
of
little
that,
plug opportunity. No.
no, fuck it, fuck off. Oh yeah, we've doubled in subscribers. We have 14 subscribers. I told you last week. Sorry, there you are. I told you last week that I didn't want any more fame. Now I'm twice as famous. This is why I'm wearing fucking crazy glasses, because I'm bigger than Jesus right now. I'm John Lennon. And you all need to chill out. Sorry, I'm getting egotistical as well. 14.
Jesus, he's got a messiah complex here.
I do.
He's there, like he's singing Jesus Walks in his head.
I am. Well, yeah. But yeah, so I just want to remind all 14 subscribers, fuck off. Don't watch us. I don't want you. Please leave. But all this bad news, Chris, I could use a little bit of good news.
Oh, that was smooth. That was, ooh.
Oh, let that just run down your spine for a second.
Oh, I feel a little bit seduced, you know. That's a great segue into
Watch
our
this
good
little
news
party.
segue.
Watch this little party trick as well. Newscaster, right there.
Dominating the news, Queen Elizabeth has died, which has shocked the UK. Good news for alleged nonce Prince Andrew, as he doesn't have to pay mummy back 12 million used for settling with his rape accuser. Allegedly.
That's funny. Sorry, we said we weren't going to commentate, were we?
No, sorry. You go.
What's funny though?
You don't need a mean mug.
Hmm?
Don't need a mean mug.
Mean mug? I'm mean mugging. Oh, my glasses fell. Oh no, they're there.
He's so unprofessional. Every week. We need to... Jeff, we need to send him to the sports desk. I'm telling you, man, this fucking guy isn't cut out for the main desk.
Jeff, mate, I need more light right here. I'm just not quite shiny enough. Good news. The Queen died. That wasn't all of it. Good news. The Queen died. And in the words of the great Jeremy Clarkson, oh no! Anyway.
I think I needed to watch more of Top Gear to get that reference, I'll be honest.
Oh, it's a meme classic.
In other news, a total recycling guide will now come printed on every Domino's pizza box. No thanks. I'd rather have my shame and self-loathing in packaging that destroys the planet.
Very good. Very good. Sorry. I wasn't supposed to say anything. I just feel like I need to. That was very good. I've got another one. The news. Good news. Liz Truss was sworn in at Balmoral shortly before the Queen's death. My theory is old Queenie took one look at that pigeon-eyed shit-eater and decided, that's it, I'm out.
Pigeon-eyed shit-eater. Oh, fuck.
There's a bit of a theme to mine.
And finally, a grandma has lost 250 pounds and is now a bodybuilder after a saggy skin removal surgery. She has been labelled fat-phobic by body positivity representatives who have since died due to morbid obesity.
Now with the weather. That's great. That's great. Oh, we
You
now
got
need
one
to
more?
do a... No, I've a segue out, don't I?
Ah, okay.
But we're segueing out of the good news. And that means that we need to very slowly like move towards each other and like fucking put this. Hold on.
We're switching up the tone.
If I could edit, there'd be an edit right here.
There we go. That's better. Casual. Oh yeah, we'll go one more.
Do you think they even notice?
I feel like I'm in Miami Vice.
Oh, I didn't even see what you were doing. I was
You're
focused on me.
too focused on you, bro.
Are we you want to face me slightly, or are you good? I don't mind.
Sorry,
I don't
I was
mind.
just-
You do you, man. You do.
I was just admiring.
Oh. Right, now we're in relaxed mode. You never guess what I'm going to do. Subvert expectations. Bad news.
Ooh.
Thomas Evans. You know him?
Yeah.
He's a comedian we both know. You never guess what he started this week. So we have the good news. And also, listeners will realise that there's a bit of bone of contention whether it was us or Joe Rogan, but we invented podcasting 4 weeks ago.
That's correct.
Right? So Tom Evans has not only started a podcast, he's called it The Weird and Wonderful News with Thomas Evans. So not only has he started a podcast, he started a news podcast trying to leech our 14 subscribers and bring them away to his fucking 2-bit operation. He hasn't even got a video because he's too much of a fucking coward to show his face. He's uploaded it to SoundCloud, which I think fits his vibe because that's where all like the 14-year-old mumble rappers drop their first EP. And I think that's the kind of intellectual and talent level that he's working with. So I understand why he's chosen that platform. But my God, Tom, you want a war? You'll fucking get one. Also, side note, not a negative, but Thomas Evans is a homosexual. Just gonna leave that there. Not for any jokes. Just a public service announcement.
He's a homosexual.
Homosexual man, yeah.
That's pretty gay.
Fully homosexual.
That's very gay.
And yeah, Thomas Evans, I'll link you to this 2-bit broken man's podcast below. If you're interested in his opinions about cats or croutons, then go ahead. Waste 25 minutes of your day and then come back here and tell me how much better we are. Couldn't even show his fucking face. Audio only, the coward.
I take it that him creating this podcast, you've taken personally.
No, I actually really enjoyed it, yeah. It was pretty good. It was a pretty good show.
It's like a Michael Jordan moment where he's like, I took that personally.
Yeah, man. So, Thomas is a watcher because he obviously stole our ideas. And, yeah.
About croutons. Fuck, that was our main original one. That was literally right there. That was.
Do you know what? Sometimes I don't know where he gets it from. Actually, it's kind of bizarre that he came up with croutons, and far be it from me to talk, but that man's not seen a salad in years, so it's actually amazing that he's come up with it.
Oh, fucking hell.
So yeah, how do you feel about the podcast beef we've started?
So it was an interesting call out. You know what I mean? A lot of energy. Like, I appreciate it. It reminded me of the old YouTube gypsy call outs you'd see where you're like,
oh, get me a Hurley next week.
Thomas Evans, you're nothing but a shite in a bucket. I don't know why I'm doing an impersonation. It's the same accent.
Mate, because they called it Game of Mobile Homes. Did you see someone made a compilation of it? Did you
I didn't know.
Mate, they made a compilation of every call-out video, named it Game of Mobile Homes.
Oh,
it was fucking
God.
amazing.
Fucking love that.
But Joe Joyce holding the Hurley being like, I'll fucking get ya. I'll get ya.
I'll fight any man.
Calling out Olympic boxers.
Yeah.
Like, Joe Joyce may be a hard bastard. Olympic boxers gonna fucking smoke him.
That's what I mean.
Or is he?
What?
Over to sports. Would Joe Joyce smoke an Olympic middleweight?
Absolutely fucking not. I think the only reason he's got some sort of confidence in his ability because he's like, oh, it's my bare fished. I'd bait anyone in my bare fish. And it's like, these are fucking Olympic level boxers. They would kill you.
I think a boxer going bare fist would. So would Joe Joyce have any chance? Because he's a known gypsy bare knuckle.
It's a cliche that like you're always within like a boxer's chance or a punching chance. Puncher's chance. He could clip a boxer, but like boxers, like these Olympic level boxers are so fucking good. Like
how close would it be?
The thing is, like, it wouldn't be close at all. Like,
just steamroller.
He get fucked up. He get absolutely fucked up.
So you're coming in trained against some ham-fisted guy. It's bare knuckle boxing.
They're fisting each other.
Yeah, man, with hands. But you're coming in, you're trained, bare knuckle, to a bare knuckle boxing fight. You're not allowed to use your feet at all, so you can't roundhouse them out of existence. What's your techers? How do you approach it? A very angry, very aggressive man with not much training.
I presume he wouldn't have much cardio, to be honest. I haven't seen him fight. How long are there bare knuckle fights?
Until you're out.
Oh, right, okay. So I suppose he probably has decent cardio, wouldn't he?
Not gym cardio though.
Yeah. I suppose just like soften him up to the body, you know what I mean? Because like obviously he's probably going to keep it high. Like, I'm not a bare knuckle boxer, so I don't know anything when it comes to that. I probably wouldn't even enter into a bare knuckle boxing fight. Obviously, if Joe Joyce.
Oh, they've made you.
Okay.
Gun to Sheila's head.
It's one of those ones. It's like cockfighting, is it?
Yeah, you've got to.
Yeah, just like soften him up to the body. And
so you cut some wood for a bit. That's
Cut some wood.
That's what the pros call going for the body.
Oh, right, okay.
Chop some wood.
Chop some wood, yeah.
Chop some wood for a bit, then you gas him out on the outside.
Yeah.
Try and get him to throw some haymakers, and then when he's off balance, just.
Yeah, I reckon he would just get tired because he's like a big guy, and he probably has some power on him. Like I said, I haven't seen him fight, but like, is he the king? Is he like not the king of the gypsies? Because that's Tyson Fury, isn't it? But like, is he like the underground king of the gypsies? Is he the one that wins all the fights?
No, there was that guy that looks like. He looks like a. I don't know how to say anything other than like bloated baby corpse, but about 60 with those giant like Paddy something. We'll look it up for next week. Have you ever seen him?
I haven't seen him.
He's got like mop hairdo. And he's got all these fucked up knuckles. He's like the king bare knuckle boxer, but he doesn't do it anymore.
All right.
But JoJo's fought one of them and won, but not him.
Oh, I see.
I followed bare knuckle boxing.
I used to have a few bits in my comedy set about gypsies, but I had to kind of take them out after a while. But the thing is, like, that's the one community left in our society where like people are just openly discriminatory against.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let me do that right now.
No, because like I remember like my bit wasn't even derogatory against them. It was like talking about how like being Irish, having curly hair, you're often assumed. You're obviously often assumed that you're gypsy, and my joke was talking about being a gypsy hype man. Like the guy in the background of the YouTube call out videos being like,
fuck you.
Yeah, so but like any type, whatever they'd say, oh, you're a shite in a bucket. I'm in the background, you're a shite in a bucket. Like, I'm just repeating. Guys. Yeah, no, they exist. And then like
fucking
the
awesome.
whole bit was like, Joe, if you're looking for gypsy hype men near you, like you'll find my advertisements on porn sites next to like dick pills.
Well, like gypsy hype man 3 miles away.
Yeah, find local gypsy hype men near you. Because I think I opened up with that at that night I got banned, and with the Jews,
Oh, with the
yeah, I doubled down, man. I was just like, fuck it, I'm just taking shots at all.
I'm like 2% Jew, and I used to work at a coffee shop. I will hand this over.
Could you clear up? Is that by ethnicity or religion? Because it's an ethnicity,
not religion.
Okay.
Yeah, it
how is it an ethnicity?
Like 23andMe, bro.
But no, how is it an ethnicity if it's a faith?
Have you seen Jews?
Yeah, I know, but
they don't look white because they're a different race.
Yeah, but like, what's the explanation for it?
So there's blacks, there's whites, there's Chinese, and there's Jews. They're just different.
Okay.
They're just a different breed.
But they're not from any particular place necessarily, because there's Jews all around the world.
Yeah, man. Yeah, although you get Jews that aren't Jewish ethnic. Pardon me.
Are we being slanderous as well, referring to them as Jews? Should we say Jewish people?
No.
People of the Jewish faith. They're not even Jewish faith. They're Jews.
Jews is fine.
Okay.
Jews is fine. Depends the inflection you say it with. If you're like, the Jews.
Yeah.
The fucking... Yeah, you can't say that.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Although, so we were getting into when you did that comedy bit. So I'll tell my little bit at the start. I was working in a coffee shop. It was where we met. We hadn't known each other very long. And Chris I'm in the middle of a rush. I'm on my own. I'm making coffees like it's going out of fashion. And Chris is like, I've got this bit about the Jews for this comedy show. And he thinks I go, yes, I have heard and understood you. And this is a great joke. But I just went, yeah, man, it's wicked. Awesome. Can't wait. Because I was making coffees. And I took little bits of it and was like, oh, interesting. Funny. But yeah, please take it from there.
Yeah, so I hadn't tried this joke out. And I was trying it out this night for the first time. And it was a ticketed night. It wasn't like an open mic or a new material night. It was like motherfuckers were paying to be there. Not the type of night you try new shit out. Like, unless you're a well-established comedian. And
or doing your second ever gig.
Yeah, like, but I ran this joke by Andy, or so I thought. It ran from Andy, more like. It wasn't ran by him, you know what I mean? I may as well have been talking to the fucking wall. But yeah, I came in, so I thought, ran the joke by you, and you were like, support the friend, like, yeah, man, it's amazing, fucking try it out tonight. So in my head, I'm like, oh, fuck, he reacted quite well. I'll put it as my closing joke, which is usually your best joke. So fast forward to the night, and I should have done some research. That'll come in context later. But I think I was the opening act, or maybe the first in the middle, and I opened up with a gypsy joke about being Irish and like curly hair and stuff like that, which was grand. People laughed. They got a good reaction. And then I got to the end of my set. So the middle of my set was all about being Irish, like talking about potatoes, terrorism, Catholic Church, the usual.
Standard day one comedy.
Your standard,
Irish
standard shtick, you know what I mean? Stereotypes. Have to address the elephant in the room. And then I get to my last joke. And it's a true story about how I was working in a summer camp in Canada and all the kids just so happen to be Jewish. Now, this joke just makes itself, you know? But you got to be real subtle with it. You got to toe the line, you know what I mean? You can't be too obvious with it. And while I was working there, this little Jewish kid came in to the kitchen and he grabbed my attention and I went over to him and what I meant to say was, what do you want? As you would normally say in English, but because of my accent and how quickly I speak, I said, what do you want? And the kid, without missing a beat, fair play to him, he goes, Jew want food, Paddy give Jew food. Which is funny, right?
It's great.
And people laughed at that. Little giggle. Should have left it there. I didn't.
You were like, oh.
I said, the cunt was lucky I didn't throw him in the ovens. Dead silence.
Dead silence.
Last joke. I stayed on stage for much longer than I should have, waiting for the laugh.
And you were just like...
The laugh never came. And then I was like, I've been Chris Curley. Good night. God bless. Walked off the stage. Wanted the ground to fucking swallow me up. It didn't end there, though.
May I borrow this next part?
Wait, because you came in near the end, but when he came back up on stage, he said, oh, that last set was very difficult for me to listen to, being a Romani gypsy Jewish man. And his name was... I won't even say his name, but yeah, he fucking... Yeah. I was like, oh my God, that was the worst thing I could have done.
Was he a Jew?
He was gypsy and Jewish.
I can't believe it.
I know, yeah.
See, I walked up to him having a word with you at the end, saying, what if there had been a Jewish person in the audience? And seeing as I've got my percentages on 23andMe, I'm technically Jewish. But like by technicality, but it's still there. So I walked straight in the middle. He was like, I was a Jew in the audience. I thought it was great. And he just, the cognitive dissonance is like his head was like, does not compute, does not compute. And he just ended it there, didn't he? He was just like out.
Yeah, well, before you came and you heard that bit, I obviously went up to him and asked him for some feedback on the set. And
he said you were punching down. Yeah,
no, that was after, but he was like, he was like, bin the whole set. He was like, you'll never do comedy here again. And yeah, no after way. That, he was like, yeah. And after that, he was like, you're punching down. And I like, at the time, I was so taken back. I was just like, oh, okay. But like, when I thought about it, I was like, punching down. I was like, I'm from fucking Ireland. We're the dirty whites.
Down do you want?
Yeah, like I was like, we're the dirty whites. You know what I mean? The Jewish community is a very affluent community. They fucking control the weather. They control the banks. They're doing great. You know what I mean? They're doing fucking amazing.
This is how you come on as a comedian. That's funny as shit, and it's just coming off the top of your head. But yeah, you can punch up at the Jews. You're Irish.
The thing is, right, Dave Chappelle said this, and I'm not even going to try and word it as my own, but he said it the best, where he was like, I don't punch down, I punch across, because everyone is on my level. When I make a joke about you, is because I respect you. If I'm not making a joke about you, is because I don't think you can take a joke. And in a way, I don't respect you as a result of that. You know? Because if you're it's like exclusion. If you're excluding a certain group, that's discriminatory. You should be inclusive with your jokes. You should take the piss out of fucking every group, because that's diversity,
Everyone's
baby.
Fair game. Everyone's
fair game.
Can
because
I just use this as an opportunity to call out? I'm a recent flyer on the Cardiff music scene. Now semi-retired, if not fully retired. But I know it's the same thing on the comedy scene. Do you just size yourself up in that camera? I'm so fucking proud of you. I'm so proud of you. You're so beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. But right, there's an endemic problem. There's an endemic problem of lots of fucking pussies on the Cardiff music and comedy scene that cannot hear anything that is outside their small bubble of thinking. And that's not me coming in saying, hey, I'm a fucking alt-righty or right-wing or fucking weird or nasty person.
I mean, you are, but that's besides the point. That's a pure coincidence.
I mean, Hitler made a few good decisions. No, that's not true. People who are about to call me out. But can we just collectively, as the arty lefty lot, can we just grow a set of balls on a backbone? Because these pussy whipped bitches are getting on my nerves. Over to you with the weather. What do you think?
No, yeah, like there's it's I get it with music. Like, 'cause yeah, like with the like arty left and creatives, they tend to be more left leaning, and just creative avenues in general, which isn't a bad thing. But like with comedy, like a lot of it is really pushing the boundaries. So like, and the whole premise is like you're trying to be funny, you're making a joke. It is theater of sorts. So like when people take it as if it's like a fucking TED talk or a goddamn political speech, you know what I mean? Like it was like that whole thing with fucking Chris Rock and Slap by Will Smith. Like the amount of people that were talked to be saying like, oh, he shouldn't have been speaking about his wife like that. And I'm like, it was a fucking performance. Yeah. Would you go up and slap a musician that was rapping about murdering your friend or someone like that? You wouldn't, because you're like, oh, that's art.
How come plenty of like rappers, they're genuine rappers that rap about killing people? I'm not calling out rap. I love rap. I'm not calling out rappers saying that should be bad. But why don't they walk off stage? They're like, and they're going straight to a fucking interrogation about all the people they just bragged about killing. Because it's a fucking performance, and they probably didn't do it.
Yeah.
They just look hard.
Yeah.
They're not actual killers. Some of them are, but not many.
Yeah.
Mobb Deep actually iced a few people.
Yeah,
well, there's 2 of them, but one of them did. It was crazy.
But it can't be taken literally. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the whole point. It's like, it's theater, but because it's not in the setting of like people are dressed up and stuff like this, people think it's like what you actually think. Like I'll be honest, like a lot of my set is shit that didn't happen. It's not real. It's exaggerated.
It half happened.
Like yeah, some of it happened, but like a lot of it is exaggeration. And like that's the thing. Like Joe, when I first started writing stuff, I was like, oh, are my family going to be offended or whatever? Because I was writing stuff about them, but a lot of it wasn't necessarily true. And then I just let go of that, and I was just like, this is like, it's like a movie. It's not like, it's imaginary. It's coming out of my brain. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm there telling a speech about how my life was terrible or anything like that. It's me trying to make light of situations or make funny.
I feel like the art is, and this is me speaking as someone who's done 0 comedy sets, but it seems like the art is picking something about yourself and then making it relatable so you can connect to people's trauma and make fun of that. It's like, even on a small level, like, I don't know, some terrible joke like, don't you hate it when it fucking rains and you talk about rain? Like, you're relating to, like, people not liking a thing and making them laugh about it. It makes people feel better. Anyway, I'm fucking jabbing. I'm jabbing shit. I don't know where my point's going. But it brings me to my final talking point. Unless you want to say some more shit. That's for you guys. So I've written in big capital letters, even though we've already covered it already, so it maybe seems like we're taking a little bit of a turn for it. But I've written in big letters, the Jews. And I need to explain what I've written, because you don't know what's coming, do you?
No idea.
I went to Stoke Newington. Big up Jen and Adana and Nick. I had an amazing time. They cooked me some of the best food I've ever had in my life. Legitimately. On a fucking tiny disposable barbecue on this garden they've just turned from a fucking grassy mess into like this refined place to hang out. It was amazing. These guys were impressive people and I had an amazing time. But in the middle of Stoke Newington, Golders Green is known as the Jew capital of Cardiff, right? That's just known. Do you know of Golders Green at all, or is that
not at all?
You're not from here? It's fine.
I am foreign.
But it's not Stoke Newington is not known for its high capacity of Hasidic Jews specifically, and these are the ones with the curls. And I found out so many things about Hasidic Jews when I was there. So one thing is that it could be 2 p.m., it could be 2 a.m., it could be in the middle of those two things. There will be the same volume of Hasidic Jews on the streets rushing somewhere. They don't walk, they're in a rush. Where are you rushing? Where are you going all the time? There's always firing around, right? They won't look at you. If you're walking towards them, they part like the Red Sea, right? We had this barbecue in the garden. After we were done, a couple of them came down with a spotlight and shined it on the whole garden to see what was happening. And there was also the flash of a few flash cameras as we were going there. It was crazy. The couple next door apparently kept goats for a few weeks in a tiny garden. All of a sudden, the bleating stops and there's a lovely smell of goat curry. And the maddest thing that I found out about them, which I thought was fascinating, is their crime-stopping abilities. Have you seen a Hasidic Jew dressed up? They look kind of like penguin-y. They've got crazy, like, furry hats on.
Kind of look like ninjas.
Yeah. And they are. They are. They're barreling about the pavement at a crazy pace. If they see a small crime being committed, like a guy nicking a bike, right? There's so many of them about that 3 of them will apprehend him, hold him back, right? And then every Hasidic Jew that comes past forms like a human cocoon around them until the authorities come. So they end up with like 50 or 60 just gathered round in this circle, just not letting the fella leave until the police arrive. And the streets are safe because of it. Jen said, big up Jen. Jen said she's happy going out for a jog at 4 a.m. in the morning, would never have done it in any other part of London because it's just fucking Jews everywhere. It's mad. It's a mad part of the world.
That's interesting.
And then there's a weird feeling that I've never had anywhere else. Is I got on the tube to go back home, and I got off somewhere else. I looked around, and I was just like, "Where's all the Jews at? Where they gone?" Because you get so used to them. It's a crazy place. I'd like to take you to Stoke Newington. Was any of that informative or interesting at all?
Did you get to bring one back, or
no? There's
not part of it. They don't.
I hoped there was. They won't look at you.
They're not like Pokemon you can catch.
No, they're not.
That's
they're
a real
not.
shame.
I would have tried.
I would have liked to have seen one.
They are the. This is awful. Hope no one from Wickham sees, but they are the most Jewy-looking Jews you've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
They're walking around like my fibromyalgia. It's like that kind of Jew.
Fuck
I've
yeah.
got bad knees. My sciatica's playing up. They look like that, like the wringing hands. Is crazy. I've never seen more Jewy Jews in my life.
Jewy Jews.
It was. I feel like you gotta see it to believe it, but it blew my mind. And you know, all they talk about is just like
Jew stuff.
Every half an hour when you're hanging out with these people, there's just another anecdote about the Jews because there's just so many of them.
Yeah.
They all drive the same car. They've all got a Skoda Octavia with loads of dings down the side of it. Apparently Jews can't drive. I didn't know that. I thought it was Chinese people.
Fuck's sake. Oh man. I
You're
learned something new. I learned something new about the Jews.
I can if you want, I can crop you out of this bit of the video so I get cancelled alone.
No, it's all. That was informative about the Jews. I feel like
I hope it was.
people have learned something about them.
I hope I came over more David Attenborough than Third Reich. That's what I hope that was.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of admiration in your eyes. There was no contempt.
A little.
No, it wasn't. It was more fascination. It was like looking at something from the outside.
It was fascinating. They hate us.
Why is that?
They think other Jews that don't do Hasidic Jews are evil, but they think we're stupid and dumb, and that we just are not worth talking to. So they wouldn't even. But like Jehovah's Witnesses will go out and be like, "Hey, you want to hear about this thing?" They're like, they don't hear about it. They don't need to know about it.
Interesting. I imagine that probably draws people in more. Because like when someone's trying to convince you of something, it makes you like resistant. But like if people are like, "No, we like this club. It's good fun," you're like, "Hey, what's going on over there?"
It's fucking mysterious, man.
Yeah, it's very mysterious.
I'd love to take you to Stoke Newington. So
Bro, I might become a Hasidic Jew.
You
I
probably
want to join
will
the
struggle.
club.
I kind of wanted to. I applied to the Masons a little while ago. I wanted to see if they'd come back to me, but I reckon they do like social media checks or something, and they were like, "Not this guy."
Not getting in the club.
Never got an email back. I even said
That's rude.
I believed in a higher power, which I objectively don't. Sorry, the Masons. But yeah, never came back to me.
What are their beliefs?
You have to believe in a god, and then it's basically just like a kibbutz. It's like centers of people that will help each other.
Yeah.
Like either through like emotional strife or through it's a good organization. And they'll help you in business. Like they'll have like a plumbers area where all the plumbers can go and they all get better at plumbing and network. It's cool shit, but you do have to believe in God or lie about it.
It's a damn shame.
It's a damn shame. Damn shame.
We had an interesting discussion about not necessarily God. Actually, no, we did when we were in Koi, that restaurant.
I was quite depressed that day.
Were you?
Yeah. That's why I pissed all over your chips the whole time.
Oh, right. You weren't pissing over my chips at all. It was an interesting conversation. Yeah, because we were talking about like atheists and theists, and I was saying that they're both in the same boat, and how like they're both trying to prove something that can't be proven.
See, that's why I fundamentally disagree with you. Atheists are just saying, "I'll have no part of your bullshit."
That's agnostics.
No, agnostics are like, they might be, they might not be.
Yeah, like
Atheists
that's.
are just like, this is a crock of shit and I don't want anything to
But
do
it's
with
a belief in something they cannot prove.
But why am I getting pulled into your bullshit game just because I don't believe in any of it?
Well, often they pull themselves into that bullshit game.
I'm not.
Yeah, I know. I didn't say you were. I'm just saying atheists in general. You often see atheists debate theists, and it's like they're just going around in circles.
Because it's just so easy. Because it's nonsense.
But it's quite a like interesting thing on both ends, because it's like it's oddly narcissistic to be like, oh, I know the truth. I know like there is or there isn't.
I do though.
But you don't.
I do. Because of the philosophy that I subscribe to, which is that I see it, I believe it. I don't see it, it's not there.
But
If
again,
you
that's
can prove
belief.
it,
That's not
not
truth.
belief.
It is belief. That's what you believe. It's not. Doesn't make it true. That's just what you believe.
It's truth.
It's not. It's your belief.
For me, it feels as true to me as this chair.
Yeah, but that's the same with them and believing God. They think God is speaking to them. That's their belief.
Yeah, I know.
But it doesn't make it true.
Mate, there's retarded people everywhere. I don't have to pretend that I'm one of them.
Yeah, I know, but like they're like it's like
I made myself laugh. That's good news.
the objective like truth like is the like it's not in either camp is what I'm saying. Like I'm not saying one is more right than the other. I'm saying everyone's entitled to their belief, but neither can prove what they believe is true.
It's whatever you got to do to get you through the day.
Yeah.
So I feel like these people need to feel like something is there, otherwise their life feels meaningless. And I think that is an oddly childish but understandable move. But for me, it's not the way to happiness, because I'm not happier than these people, but the way to truth is to realize that you are alone and to build things despite that. Everything you do and you can create and you build is a massive middle finger up to chaos and the fact that there's no shot that we would ever be here in the first place. If you can build something half decent after being thrown on this windy, rainy fucking rock where you're going to die in fucking 20 minutes compared to the universe, that's the impressive shit. I want no one telling me God put it together or he's deciding shit for me. Fuck you. I did this. Don't try and take my credit. That's why atheists can get in the bin. It's not real. Don't believe the blabber.
Do you mean theists, not atheists?
Theists can get in the bin. Theists can get in the bin. Don't believe the fucking blabber, man. Because, like, it's just taking credit away from the people that did it and giving it to some fucking babysitter in the sky. Fuck off.
That's interesting.
Have you heard that take?
I've never heard that take, no.
Don't steal my credit. Like, 'cause I hate it, right? Like, say fucking Usain Bolt wins 100 meters, and he's like, "Cheers, buddy." No, that was you, bro. That was you.
Yeah,
Cheers
but I
me.
suppose he believes that God granted him life. That's his belief.
God didn't fucking run it for him. They sang "God Save
Yeah,
the
but
Queen" every day for 50 years. She fucking died.
Say in his
God don't
reality,
do shit.
say in his reality, and like God exists, and he believes in God, and God granted him life. Everything he does, he gives thanks to God. And like, whether you believe God is like this fucking man in the sky or whatever, or you think it's eternal energy or love or what, like whatever it is you believe, like he's giving thanks to something bigger than himself. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a God that we think of when it comes to religion, like, because to each individual it is different. The meaning is different, you know? He's like thinking of something bigger than himself that actually connects him to a lot of people. You know what I mean?
I will say, I will feather what I said with anyone who can have an optimistic or productive life and you subscribe to a higher power, more power to you, well done, you've done great. But the most respect I have are for people who embrace the nothingness and do things despite that. I think that's the most courageous act. I feel like that's playing the game with the stabilizers off. You got nothing to comfort you except yourself. And the people that you surround you with. Like, the power is right here. It's not coming after. There's no heaven coming after. If I want heaven, I have to make it here on earth. And I just find people say atheists are these angry people who just want to knock down everyone's opinions. And yeah, in a way, it's fun. But also, I think it's a beautiful ideology because it's embracing the fact that we need to make this what it is. And that's all it will ever be. If you're sad now, you have to fix it here. Don't suffer and then believe that later some deity is going to give you an easy ride. There's no evidence I've been presented with so far in my life that kind of cop-out is what's waiting at the end of this. That's crazy to me. Life is so harsh and meaningless and difficult that why at the end, it would even seem cheap to me if I arrived in heaven. I'd be like, that's the way you ended this story. That's a rubbish end to the story of life. I just go on forever in fields of happiness with fucking all the goody two-shoes churchgoers.
I get what you're saying in terms of like sacrificing this life, this existence for a better one in the next. You know what I mean? That's mad because you're never present then. You're never here and now. I think as well though, at the same time, because a lot of people fear death, you know, because they feel as though we all know intellectually we're not going to live forever, but there's this sense of immortality in us. Like we've this cognitive dissonance that we're like, oh yeah, like Joe, I'm always going to be here, or my friends are always going to be here, or my family are always going to be here. But the Buddhists talk about like meditating on your death, and it's like dying before you die, which is like sounds quite morbid, but it's like it allows you to release from the fear of death, which I imagine people who believe in heaven have that, where they're like, oh well, when I die, this isn't the end, and that gives them some comfort. And like you say, like if that helps you, then fine. But like for me, like my own personal experience, like I grew up like with Catholicism that was very God heavy, and it was a very specific type of God, and obviously I rejected that and I went away from that. But then I had this mad experience at a fucking ayahuasca retreat where like I felt like I went back to source, or I died and I went to where I was before I was born. Like it sounds fucking crazy, but it was like there was no God, but there was also no nothingness. I was pure energy, and I think we were talking about this like the other day about how like nothing is dead. Like these chairs, obviously they came from a tree, but they're still alive. They're in the process of dying and decaying, but like you break it down, the matter, it's alive. Like it's atoms. You know what I mean? Like even when our physical body dies, our body is going to decay into the soil and cause life. Like nothing, like energy that cannot be destroyed. And I feel like that's the same with our spirit. Like our physical body will become energy that will feed the soil, but also I feel like your spirit goes back to source, to where it was before. You know what I mean? And it's part of it, because that's what I felt when I had the ayahuasca experience in the Bufo Alvarez. Like I was like, oh shit, like I'm not Chris Curley. Like this is just the vehicle I'm inhabiting. I'm actually all of this and none of it. It's meaningless and meaningful. It sounds like an oxymoron, I realize.
Something deep inside me yearns every time someone speaks like this about spirituality or about God. There's a part of me that is...
The thing is, sorry to interrupt you,
crying out for it to be true. I want to jump on it. I cannot. I've tried. I've gone to
this what I'm saying though isn't to do with spirituality or religion.
No, I wish that this were fact. In my mind, you took a very strong drug and a series of chemical reactions gave you that result. That is what I believe happened. Like I've taken psychedelics, I've seen amazing things, and I go, wow, that was some weird chemicals that did some weird things, but ultimately I don't believe that they were true. So when I hear these things, and I hope that this doesn't alter your perception of them or pull away from your psyche.
It won't.
For me, that's another chemical reaction. But it doesn't mean I'm not yearning for something to change the game or make me believe it. But
Yeah.
I never will, man. I never will. All of that is a drug-induced hallucination. Beep, beep.
It's about to blow.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Sorry,
that got picked
I
up on the
did kinda
microphone.
cut you off at the pass.
What do you mean?
I cut you off at the pass there. You were in the middle of a flow. You were like, can I just... And I cut you off completely. Did you
No,
have
it's
more to
grand.
say?
Yeah, like I don't think of it as just a hallucination. Like definitely, because I know what I experienced. Like I've had hallucinations before on psychedelics. Like this was something entirely different. Like I left my body. Like I wasn't the person you see before you now. Like I literally sound like a madman trying to explain it, because it's ineffable.
That's why I want to do it.
There's no words to describe it. But
Nice
again,
ineffable use, by the way.
oh yeah,
That's a good word.
and a word to describe not being able to put words to things. It's quite ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like,
Great word.
the thing is, like, Joe, if you were to take it, your experience would be completely different. That's why, like, it's so interesting. Like, you talk about the chemical reactions and stuff like that with your brain, and like it talks about like biodiversity, how like we could take the exact same substance, the exact same amount, and your experience and my experience could be completely different. It could not affect you, and I could go into the astral planes.
We've lived the last 29 years completely differently.
But also, like, on a chemical scale, like, our atoms are different. You know what I mean? We're completely different. Like, it's the same thing that's coming into us objectively, but it's reacting with us differently. And depending on how receptive we are mentally, physically, spiritually, it will take us on a different experience. You know what I mean?
So I feel like this has been very fascinating, but I also feel like we're drawing to an end.
I think
late.
that beat was
a
a good call.
But I want to leave you with, and maybe you could tell me one thing you've learned this week after this, but I want to leave you with one thing I learned this week. I've been off screen for so long, haven't I? I learned this week about a Welsh word. It's called hiraeth. I learned it from my brother. Because in work I was speaking with a friend of mine called Mo about words in different languages that mean whole sentences, but they're encapsulated in one word in a specific language. Like there's a word in the Japanese nomenclature which means the feeling of walking through a forest and getting a tingle as if someone's behind you but there's not actually someone there. That's one word in Japanese.
Yeah.
I find that fascinating. I didn't realise in my home language, not English, Welsh, there's a word called hiraeth. Do you want to know what it means?
Sure.
It is the longing for a homeland that no longer exists.
Interesting.
And apparently it's a very Welsh thing because for generations there's been kind of a scraping at what it is to be Welsh, and little bits of it fall away every generation. People speak less and less of the language, there's less and less community, and this hiraeth kind of is an underpin of the entire what it is to be Welsh. That culture of that. The minds are gone. We used to do so many things. We used to be our own kingdom, and this hiraeth is, I think, a really interesting concept to find in one word in the Welsh language. A lot of the time, the Welsh language is not very concise and uses 1,000 L's to describe something very simple. But in this case, props to Welsh.
That's a lovely word.
Did you learn a thing this week, or would you like to call it there?
Well, similar to that, I haven't learned it this week, but you talking about that word in that language reminded me of a word from Sanskrit, and it's pronounced mundita, and it means experiencing vicarious joy. So seeing someone experience joy and deriving joy from their joy, which is a beautiful word. Sanskrit is a beautiful language.
Very interesting. I think vicarious joy is sneered at a little by our culture, but I think that it should be encouraged a little more. I think it should be a little less, I'll go grab it for me, and a little more, I'm happy for you going around. Because if it wasn't seen as a pussy move to be like, I'm actually buzzing that you went and did that, and I'm thoroughly happy, even though it's not happening to me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of our culture is like,
envy.
He did that? I need to fucking do something now.
Yeah.
Like, let's have a bit more vicarious joy.
I don't know if I mixed up vicarious and precarious. No, vicarious is the right word.
Vicarious is the right one.
Precarious is like...
Whoa. Do you know what precarious joy is? It should be quite funny. It's like, I'm happy. I'm feeling sad. I got sunshine in a bag. That's precarious joy.
On a fucking tightrope.
So we really covered the bases here. We ended up with a deep philosophical chat, and we started at the top of the hour with some real manners, but it only leaves us to say,
fuck you, San Diego.
Well, thank you we did name them Pillar next week, so thank you, Pillar for tuning in for another episode. If you made it to the 50th minute, then props.
Wow.
And I've been Curly.
I've been Hughes.
But we're not. We're actually, you've been Curly.
And you've been
I've been Hughes. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Suck all of your mothers. Goodbye.